appreciate y'all coming on Friday night, and I really appreciate you bringing your sons. I love to see that when the father brings his son on Friday night. And I have an awesome respect for the fathers that did that tonight. I want to share with you a little bit tonight. I want to start out, though, with Dexter McCluster. I miss you. D. Nutt, do we miss him? I miss you. But Don said it right. He's a better person, if you can believe that, than a player. He really is. He's special. I want to start out with that. I want to start out with Dexter. I want to share with something. First, I got to tell the story. I got to tell the story, Dex. You don't know about this. When you went to the Mobile Senior Bowl, it's in Mobile, Alabama, right? So a coach called me, a professional coach, Jack Del Rio, calls me. Coach Nutt, you didn't tell me Dexter was that small. I said, well, you didn't ask me. He's small. That's when they checked. You check in on Sunday. You check in. I mean, they take off shirts, clothes. I mean, they have to. It's just like a herd of cattle. They do everything. Prod you, and measure you, and all that. And so Tuesday, though, Dexter, he calls me back, and I see it, and I'm recruiting hard and trying to find another Dexter. And I see Jack Del Rio. I says, hey, Coach, what's up? Dexter's not that small. I said, I know that. I know that. And he's special. I'm glad that God, he doesn't measure us from the head to toe. I'm glad he puts that tape measure around that heart. And I want to share with you, this is the first week of two-a-days this past year. We just got through practicing. I got through showering, and I was coming back through the office, and I looked out in the indoor arena in the IPF, and I saw Dexter, and he was just pacing. He was pacing back and forth, and I stopped. I said, that don't look right. And he kept just pacing. And then, so I went out there, and as I was walking towards Dexter, I could see tears coming down his eyes. And so I approached Dexter. I said, Dexter, what's wrong? And he just stopped, looked at me, didn't say anything for a while, kind of gathered himself up. I said, Dexter, what's wrong? I'm not living right. I'm not doing right. And I really thought it took a real man, to tell me that. Somebody with history. You got to look on the outside. When the people from the outside look at Dexter, they see this, like he talked about, this Dexter that runs 4.3. He vertical jumps 38 inches. He bench pressed so much. You saw what he did against Tennessee. He's electrifying. He's awesome. But I know his heart. And that's what I want to talk to you tonight. He had an alarm system inside of him that was going off. And all of us have this alarm system inside of us, deep down inside. I don't have that many rules with my football team. I have one. Do what's right. Because deep down inside, we have this alarm system that God put us there. It's our conscience. And our conscience is like a radar. It's a warning that goes off. That doesn't guide you. You've heard that saying, let your conscience be your guide. I don't know now. It depends on how that conscience was programmed. And that's what I want to get to. Dexter knew the alarm was sounding. It was going off. And I want to give you the definition of conscience. It's to understand or be made aware of. God's given us this conscience to distinguish between right and wrong. And deep down inside, I tell my guys every day, I know you know. I know you know the difference between right and wrong. I know because I know your mamas. I met all y'all. But what's amazing is some people have a high standard. That alarm goes off loud. And some people have a low standard, and sometimes you can't even hear it. And it all started back in the Garden of Eden. And y'all know the story. Adam and Eve's in the Garden of Eden. They get to eat from all of the trees except for one. God programmed them, hey, look, obey me. I got you in the Garden of Eden. You can eat from all of the trees except for the one tree in the middle. You know the story. And what happens? Eve sees this beautiful apple, and this person distracts and shows how beautiful this apple is, and she takes the fruit and eats, as we all know the story. and quickly gives it to Adam. Take a bite. But let's go back. The Bible shows that there was an alarm going off even with Eve, way back with Eve. Why do I know that? Because if you read in Genesis 3, if you go back and read, the devil comes up and tries to tempt, says, no, I can eat from all of the trees, but I just can't eat from that one in the middle. And the devil says, no, why is that? This is a beautiful apple. You can eat from this tree. Because you may know a lot more if you eat from this tree. And Eve says, I may die. God says, I'll die if I eat from that tree. What does the old Satan say? You won't die. You surely won't die. That alarm was going off. She didn't hear it. Are you listening? Can you trust your conscience? Can you trust your conscience? Are your ears open to what's going on inside of you? Because God put an unbelievable warning system inside of us. It's there. Eve ignored it, and it wrecked the world. And we wonder sometimes why we get in trouble. If you look in Romans 1:18 through 20, it tells us, you know what? I got an alarm system. God tells us, I got an alarm system for you. In 18, it says, God's anger is revealed from heaven against every ungodly and immoral thing people do as they try to suppress the truth by their immoral living. In 19, it says, what can be known about God is clear to them because he has made it clear to them. And then in 20, it says this, and this is what gets you. From the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his internal power, divine nature, have been clearly observed in what he made. As a result, people, you have no excuse. It's there. We got no excuse because he's put that conscious and that alarm system deep down inside of. He's planted us there, but here's the catcher. We live in a world that says this. I got my own standard. I don't know about that standard. I got my own standard. I don't really want to go on Friday night. A lot of good shows on tonight. I really don't want to go with a bunch of men in the tad pad. Not tonight. Because, see, I have my own standard. I have my own beliefs. I believe what I want to believe. And here's what I always hear the devil says, because I hear it from my players when they talk to each other. Who are you to tell me? Who are you to tell me what's right or wrong? Who are you to tell me what's right or wrong? I have my own morals, standards. I got to have my fun. When that alarm goes off and you choose to ignore it, you're flirting with disaster. You're flirting with it. It's going to wreak havoc. And it started way, way back. And what's sad is it seems like our moral standards have gotten worse. I don't really have to go to church on Sunday. I don't really have to go all the time. I don't really know if that Bible is really all the way true. I can just go sometimes when I feel good. God's placed that alarm system in each side of us. And you know what? You can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it. It's locked. It's set in. Now, here's the kicker. When I got in a car, when I just started first dating Diana at Oklahoma State, she would tell me, I know you hear that. I'd get in the car. I said, hear what? I know you hear that seatbelt alarm system going off. Yeah, I hear it. Put your seatbelt on. The alarm's going off. It's making a noise. But see, I wasn't programmed to put on a seatbelt. My dad, I don't know if y'all remember, my dad, he had 4 boys, so we sat in the back of the car. He went 70 miles an hour. We didn't wear seatbelts. And when we got out of line, it was one of these. Boom, boom, boom. There wasn't any seatbelts involved. But that seatbelt alarm was going off over and over and over and over. But I ignored it because I